Hi, welcome to my classroom.
I'm Dulce's dad.
Hi, nice to meet you. First of all, just thank you for coming. I know it takes a little bit of your time, but it's nice to know what's going on in the classroom. To start, I would like to give you this folder. We put together these parent folders to show what we've been doing in the classroom and just some of her work. There's lots of things in there that is your copy to keep. If you have any questions about it, email me or get a hold of me in some way. We're going to talk a lot about testing today. It's a big part of what we do to determine where the students are in the classroom. We do testing throughout the school year to measure the students' success and evaluate where they're at. It gives me the opportunity to see where I need to improve in my teaching too for the students. It also provides me with information about what skills the students really need help with. We also use the results to start intervention plans if the students would require that as well. So the first assessment that we're going to talk about is called the FAST assessment. So it's the Formative Assessment System for Teachers. This is an online service that helps me to gather data and guide instruction. Students are tested 3 times throughout the year, so fall, winter, and spring. Within the FAST testing, there are multiple tests. So we're going to talk about 2 different tests today. The first one is the CMB reading test. CMB stands for Curriculum-Based Measurement. Basically what it means is it monitors the students' reading progress. These are 1-minute tests that I give, so it's on the computer. It's a reading passage that they read, and I just mark their errors as they go. So this is kind of a look at Dulce's scores. In 2nd grade, so last year, winter, her score was 46 for this test, and the standard, which would be the benchmark that we would hope that she would be at this point, it was 87, so she was below that level. In 2nd grade in the spring, she was at 67, and the benchmark was 106. This year in my classroom in the fall, she was at 42, and the benchmark would have been 90. And then this last winter, the 3rd grade winter test was at 67, and it would be 116 as the benchmark. So she is definitely struggling a little bit with her fluency skills. And I'm going to go through all the testing and all the results we have, and then we'll kind of talk about what we can do to help her with that. This is also part of the FAST testing, so this is called the A reading test. It is a computer-based test, and it has 30 questions, and it tests all areas of reading. So how words sound, comprehension, vocabulary, fluency. So that, again, we're going to go through her 2nd grade scores as well. In 2nd grade winter, she was at 476, and the benchmark would have been 481. Okay. So she's kind of right there. 2nd grade in the spring, she was at 477. And the benchmark was 489, so a little bit lower. She didn't improve too much between those. 3rd grade fall was at 485, and we would like her about 487, so again, she's right there at that benchmark. And then 3rd grade winter, she was at 485 again, which the benchmark would be 497. So from 3rd grade fall to 3rd grade winter, she did not improve. She had the same score both times. She is doing better in this A reading than she did on the previous test we talked about, but there are still a few things that we could work on with her to improve those scores too. Do you have any questions about the FAST testing so far?
Nope.
Okay. So next we're going to talk about the Iowa assessments. This is a series of tests. It measures the aspects of the Iowa core, which is just standards that we have in the state of Iowa that go over every grade level and every subject too. So it comes from that. The scores are used to tell me how students are performing in the different areas, and it helps me identify, again, just those strengths and weaknesses and problem areas. So this is just a test that we do once a year rather than the 3 times a year like the FAST. So we're going to talk about the reading test and then the vocabulary test. The reading test focuses on her literacy skills again, comprehension and interpreting the text, and then also vocabulary. If you see the NSS, that just simply means the National Standard Score, which means the student's achievement based on a standard score. And the standard score has 3 different categories. So they are separated into not proficient, proficient, and then advancing. So, and we'll talk about that with her scores. So her scores on the reading test, her second grade reading was at 153. This would be considered in the non-proficient category because the non-proficient is 115 to 155. But she's right on that line. She was very close to proficient. And then this year in her reading, she was at 172, which falls into the proficient level of 170 to 208. So she's doing fairly well, and she's at that proficient level in that category. As far as the vocabulary, this assesses her vocabulary using short phrases and sentences and synonyms, things like that. Her scores in this were, for second grade, she was at 126, which would definitely fall into the not proficient category of 115 to 155. So she was really struggling with that last year. This year she improved a ton. She is at 177, and the proficient level is 172 to 208. So she really got better in that category this year, and we're happy to see those results. Again, any questions so far? I know we're kind of going through a lot here. Okay, so this last sheet is kind of just what are we going to do with this. So right now her strengths, she's really improved in that vocabulary. She's also working very hard to improve in all of these areas, and she is very determined to do that. Her items that we need to work on are her fluency and just being confident and comfortable when she's reading. I think that's part of her problem too. Yeah. So the action plan that we're going to take going forward with her, just a few suggestions for improvement overall. If we can get her to listen and follow along to recorded audio readings, this can have her follow along with the words so that she can hear it and how it should sound. And just repeated reading, rereading stories over again so she can find different words, things like that. So some specific suggestions that you could do at home, just have her read to you aloud, have her pick out a book, read it before she goes to bed, and then some nights maybe have you read it to her too, just because that helps her see how that works, and you can kind of model how fluency should work through the book. And we'll do that in class as well, but that's just something you can do at home to help her. As far as my support and what I would like to do, I'm going to start adding in more fun activities to practice her vocabulary and her sight words, just so she can get used to those words so she doesn't stumble upon a word when she's reading. And then also I'm going to start doing more paired reading with her. So I'm going to pair her with one of our students who's really doing well in their fluency, and that gives her another opportunity to just hear what the fluency rate should sound like, so she can start getting used to that. And then also we're going to progress monitor her, which means those 1-minute reading assessments I was telling you about where I mark her errors. We're going to do that with her often so that we can just keep track of her fluency improvement and making sure that she is making those strides. Are there any questions that you have about anything that we've talked about today?
I don't think so. I think you covered it all.
All right. Well, again, if you have any questions, certainly email me or get a hold of me, and we'll keep working.
All right.
So, all right.
Thank you.